This story began almost 200 years ago on the land that we are gathered on, Wadawurrung country. This has always been Wadawurrung country. The Wadawurrung people lived in harmony with the earth, stars, water, and trees. The Wadawurrung people were and are custodians. They protected the country's secrets, cared for the plants and animals, and made sure they only took what they needed. They are connected to the land through song, dance, and stories. Everyone had a place and a purpose. The Wadawurrung people respected the creatures and plants that grew and thrived on the land for over 60,000 years. From the smallest ant to the largest tree, everything had its place. Everyone took great mokborin, pride in who they were and their ancestral stories and traditions. Chapter 1, Mokborin, Pride. The story is set by the winding river of Yarramloch, Yarrowie River. Many creatures drank from these waters and splashed in the ripples. Children laughed as they caught tadpoles and watched them transform into frogs. There was a young girl playing by the river with her friends. Her name was Garamili, which means to dance in Wadawurrung language. Garamili was 6 years old. She enjoyed singing and dancing with her friends as they collected beautiful stones from the waterbed. Her little brother sat on a rock and dipped his feet into the creek as he watched the girls. With a smile on his face, he listened to them sing and watched them dance through the water. When they were close, he splashed them. He thought it was funny as he began to chase them. Garamili's grandma called to the girls. It was time to help gather murnong yams for the tribe to eat. Together the girls ran to the women on the hill above the river. Garamili listened to the women's stories as they searched for bright yellow murnong daisies. They knew they would be sweet yams below. The women tended the earth gently to ensure the yams continued to grow. In the evening, after all the hard work was done, Garamili and her friends ran back to the creek and played. Her brother quickly noticed and ran to join them. They loved to cover themselves in wet earth, the brightly coloured ochre. Garamili squished her toes deep into the mud, and her brother rubbed the dirt all over his face. The damp soil protected his skin from mosquito bites, as well as the weather as it turned cold under the setting sun. All her life, Garamili practiced deep listening with her elders. Garamili had to be very still and focus on her surroundings to connect with the earth and ancestral spirits. Nighttime was the best. Everyone gathered together as they ate and shared stories. The children learnt so much where everyone yarned together. The elders were happy as the children gathered at their feet. The young people learnt about Bunjil, the creator spirit, Wa, the trickster, and how Ballarat got its name. Garamili's favourite stories were always about Bunjil, the creator. She felt a strong connection to the great eagle. Sometimes Garamili fell asleep in front of the fire as the stories played in her dreams. Her grandma carried her to bed in her strong arms. Garamili felt so safe and warm with her elder. Grandma tucked Garamili in gently and covered her in a soft possum skin blanket. Sometimes Garamili's little brother snuggled up next to her. They kept each other warm on cold nights. Sometimes life was hard, as there was always work to do. Harvesting yams, herding kangaroos, digging wells and weaving baskets. This was a big part of the young people's learning and education. When the work was done, there was also a lot of time to rest and play.